So I'm back, hopefully with better signal. I'm not sure. So I'm going to wrap this up um, shortly. So basically, just to summarize what I was saying before, is that generally in our society, and I mean in the US, when I say that, we often hear people talk about older people more negatively. There are a lot of people that have negative age beliefs about people who are older, and sometimes we don't even realize that we have those beliefs. I heard a story when I was looking for information to share with you guys. I heard a story of a psychologist who had an experience with an older physician who was dismissive and not really accepting any feedback or any, I guess, recommendations. And she immediately uh, dismissed that, dismissed him, and attributed his reactions to him being older and not really attributing his reactions to her to his personality, which later, as she thought about it, she thought he was probably being this way because he's just arrogant and not necessarily because he's old and rigid and not open. So it's something that we all need to start to be more aware of. I think of the age beliefs that we have, and a lot of the information that we get about aging. We don't really realize that we're consuming all this information that slants our perspective one way or the other, and mostly it's slanting our perspective towards the negative when we think about aging and think about older adults. And so I'm going to challenge you to start thinking about people differently as they age, thinking about yourself differently as you age. We are bombarded constantly with products that promote ageless aging or promote preserving your youth. And I think, we're all kind of guilty of that to some degree. Well, I shouldn't say we all are, but I definitely am, guilty of, thinking about, youth as seeing it in a more positive light at times. And particularly, I've been thinking about it a lot because I turned 50 last year and will be aging again or turning another year very soon. So one of the things that from the research of the book that I mentioned at the beginning of the talk before I got disconnected, the book is called Breaking the Age Code by Dr. Becca Levy. She's a professor of public health and psychology at Yale School of Public Health. So one of the things that she found in her research was that people that take in more negative age beliefs can have different levels of stress hormones like cortisol, or stress biomarkers like cortisol, or even biomarkers for Alzheimer's. And that just goes to show that there can be a strong impact on our thinking on our physiology or our bodies. So we need to be more mindful of those beliefs that we have about anything, but particularly about aging, because that's what I'm talking about right now. So one thing that she challenges people to do is to keep an age belief journal. And I think it's a pretty cool idea. So just over the course of a week, whenever you hear someone talking about, someone in the context of aging or getting older or something of that nature, you should start keeping a journal. And then at the end of the week, you should designate whether it was a positive conversation or comment, or was it a negative one. And for those that were negative, was there a way that it could have been portrayed differently? So this may be you having a conversation with someone and them saying something. You might notice that you're saying something or thinking something, or you may overhear people, or you may see something in a magazine or on TV. But just start to notice what it is that comes up when people are talking about, people getting older or aging, and where you would place that as far as categorizing as something, a negative belief or a positive belief. And if there's a way that it could have been shifted so that it is positive if you did decide that that was a negative belief. So that's one thing that you can do, is to start to keep an age belief journal. And what that will do is to make you more aware. So before you can change anything about yourself, you got to be aware of it, right? So if you don't know that you're having these thoughts, or if you don't know that, you're being bombarded by all of this stimuli that can somehow influence you in a certain way, then you won't know how to try to do things to mitigate it influencing you, right? So awareness is key, and one way to become aware is by documenting or journaling the things that you observe or the things that you hear. And so another suggestion that she has to help to challenge some of the negative age beliefs is to create a portfolio of positive images of aging. So she suggests to find maybe 4 people that you want to use as an example of positive when it comes to aging. And you might see these may be people that are in your family. It may be people that you know from work, or people that you see on TV, wherever. And what you can do, people that you read about in a book, what you can do is start to keep a portfolio of those people. And then you would identify 2 qualities about that person, each of those 4 people rather, 2 qualities that you think are positive, and ways that you want to strengthen those qualities within yourself. So that's another way to start to look at aging in a more positive way. Look at people that actually have those characteristics that you think are positive, that relate to aging, and also think about how you can strengthen those characteristics in yourself. So that's your homework, is to start working on strengthening positive age beliefs. And I will be back on here next Monday, continuing the conversation on aging, but talking a little bit more about aging and brain health, and things that impact that, and things that we can do to help to improve it. So this is Dr. Melissa Green, and hope to see you next week. Also, if you have concerns about someone that you think may have mild cognitive impairment, or actually dementia, then I have a resource for you that would be helpful to guide you on where to go to get evaluations. I will have the link below so that you just click on it. It's a free resource. Hopefully, you will be able to benefit from it. Anyway, hope to see you next week. Goodbye.